Hi, my name is Christina, and I just want to talk briefly about this new program I'm introducing. I want you to know that I am not a psychiatrist. I don't have any professional therapy work behind me. This is just simply what I've learned. So let me just do a brief introduction about who I am. I have been studying the law of attraction, or the secret is like a lot of people like, or how to manifest, for probably about 20 years. And I learned it, or I became interested in it because I have been trying to create this lifestyle. I've always had this dream since I was a little girl about being wealthy and having a big, beautiful home, having, a car, my Prince Charming. And I know a lot of people have, but for me, they never went away. I just always seemed to be interested in it. And so much so that when I was around wealthy people, or people that I thought were wealthy, I could actually feel that vibration from them. I could feel that lifestyle, and it really intrigued me. I'm like, that's something I need to be part of. But I also, besides just wanting wealth and cars and all this stuff, I also wanted to have this like idyllic life. And I wanted, a life where I had, happiness and zen and peacefulness. I am kind of a earthy person by nature, so that's what I wanted. And it sounds crazy, I know. And some people will tell me, "Oh, that's a lot to ask," and I know it is a lot to ask, but it didn't seem impossible. It seemed like it was a dream that's there, and I'm gonna do it. Sorry, my hair's my eyes. So anyway, so I've been studying this law of attraction, and I had some luck with it. I'll admit it. I mean, I was able to attain a lot of dreams and goals. And, as I got older and the more I've done, the more I've studied about it, especially with, YouTube exploding with all this manifestation and law of attraction videos, and people that say this is what they're doing and they can help you. And there's all sorts of life coaches. I mean, they claim everything from, weight loss to the love of your life to money to whatever. So it became really easy to be inundated with it and research it and love it and become part of it. But what I seem to notice, and what I got from even what people said about it, is there were pieces. People seemed to give up on it, and it seemed like they couldn't have everything that they wanted. They could only have pieces of what they wanted. Or if they, they would ask for it, it wouldn't come true. And people seem to simplify it, say, "Oh, it's a law, it's easy, this is so simple," and none of that made sense. Like I could achieve some things following some rules, but totally breaking other rules. Or I could follow all the rules and get nothing. So I wanted to understand this. Long story short, I needed to understand these rules, and I needed to understand what was missing, what wasn't working for me. Why is this only working part-time? Why does it work if I break some of the rules? Like they say, don't become obsessed. And yet when I got a job as a flight attendant, I got it because I was obsessed. I was looking at everything. I was using anything and everything I could. So I decided to start with the most basic principle. And the most basic principle seemed to be this gratitude. If you're grateful, you can have just about anything you want in your life. You ask, you're grateful, you have faith. Ask, grateful, faith. So I decided to pick grateful because grateful seemed pretty easy. And I started doing this grateful meditation where you just sit and you think about how grateful you are for everything. Your life, your love, your money, your job. I spent time being grateful for everything. And it did make me happier, for sure. I didn't see any great success with it, but it made me happier. And I think I had some positive things from it, but I wasn't seeing this great amount of money coming in. And then suddenly out of nowhere, I actually kind of just, I think, prayed about it and meditated and said, I got to understand this. We're grateful, because if this is supposed to be the solution to everything, just be grateful. Why am I not seeing this? And why is it so easy to give up on? Why, when something bad is happening, do you just quit being grateful altogether? Or why is it an event? For me, I just needed to understand it. And so one night I decided to break down grateful, because one piece of the law of attraction people don't talk a lot about is this compare and contrast. It really does help you understand it a little better. So I decided to use the compare and contrast technique that's talked about in the law of attraction to understand grateful. And I broke down all the pieces of grateful, the compare and contrast, the good and the bad. And I put them all together. And I kind of put them in my mind, all the pluses and minuses, which, trust me, when you do this with anything, you will, if you are open and honest with yourself and you do it right, everything in your life has pluses and minuses. They all have a compare and contrast, and it's really easy to do, and it actually is more in depth than you would ever realize. But again, it's an honesty factor. So then I thought about, what do I do with this? I have all this information here about this one word. What am I supposed to do with it? And it was emotional. I had a lot of good and bad things in there. I had a lot of information about how I felt about this. And then I remembered the vibrational energies. You know, how do you bring your own vibration up? And I remember love is one of the biggest vibrational energies you can possibly do. I mean, what do they always say? You have an enemy, you love that enemy, and it will change the way you feel about that enemy. If you actually just really love them, it will change the entire process. And I know that's true because I've had plenty of people that I don't get along with, that all I've done is just, in my mindset, I love you, I love you, I love you. So, and it does, it changes that relationship immensely. So I did that the same thing with all these things, all the positive and negatives of this one word, gratitude. I put in there, and I decided, because I had it in a big ball, I decided to hug that ball. And I just said, I love you, I love you, I love you, to all of them, over and over and over again. I love you, I love you, and I love you, and I love you. It was amazing. I loved this so much. I could feel it throughout my whole body. I could feel my whole body vibrating with this love for all these emotions. And then I said to them, even though it's gratitude, I said, I'm grateful for you. And I said that over and over again to these until I really felt that vibration. I was grateful for the pluses and the minuses, for the compare and contrast, for the good and the bad of this one word, and the negatives, you know, because there was positive emotions I had about being grateful, and there were negative emotions. Obviously, I just said some of them. I said, being grateful, I'm grateful, and I don't see anything. So obviously I already had emotions. I put them all in, and I was grateful. I was so grateful. I was in love, and I was grateful at these two massive emotions. I was just overpowering with this. My vibration was high, the vibration in the balls. I could feel it. Everything was there. And then I knew I needed to let go of these. I knew I needed to let go. I knew I couldn't hold it forever. As much as I loved that vibration that was happening, this amazing thing, I knew I had to let them go. So before I did, I decided that I needed to get answers from them. And that's the kind of person I am. I like to learn, and I want answers. I'm not one who can just simply say, oh, so, you know, I'm going to release you, I don't ever want to see you back. I mean, my poor ex-boyfriends, you know, I'd be like, we got to discuss why this relationship didn't work so I don't repeat it again. They would hate it, but I'd actually learn a lot. And so that's the kind of person that I am. And so before I released these things, I said to them, you know, I love you, I'm grateful for you, but I need some answers. So I'm going to release you, and I'm going to release you to my higher power, the universe, you know, whatever it needs to be. I'm going to release you. And for me, it is the universe. It's a higher power. And sometimes, actually, I have a pretty religious background, you know, though I don't always use it. But so sometimes I will say God. For me, those terms all work. I don't know for anybody else what works. But those are what I use, and I release them. But I said, hey, when you go, I need you to gather all information for me. I need you to find out what your meaning is in my life. And I need you to come back and help me. You know, if there is no more meaning and you need to go and be gone forever, I understand that too. But if you don't need to be gone forever, and I have things to learn from you, please come back and tell me. I'll be open and I'll be willing. I don't know how you'll get it back to me, but I'm going to be as open as I can to receive information however I can. And I'll just be there. So when I told him that, I released them. And that would be the, you know, this kind of enlightenment of letting it go and trusting the universe. I'm enlightened with this. I'm so enlightened letting you go, this last vibration, that I'm going to be enlightened when you come back. I'm going to be open to whatever you have to give me. Well, after I let them go, I was kind of, everything that I had gone through put me into this like storm of emotions. I was crying and I was happy and I was confused and I didn't know what was going on. And I mean, I was amazed at this flow of emotions over this one word and all the things that it had meant to me. And the next day, my husband was there and I explained to him what I did. I said there was no rhyme or reason to how I did it. I just felt that this is what I was supposed to do. I felt like this was a message. Do this, this will work. And so he said, well, let's talk about it. And we talked about it. And the moment we talked about it, all of a sudden, like he was saying things that he didn't even know where they were coming from. He said, this is just a thought. I don't know where this is coming from. I've never thought about that. Or, I just happened to scroll across the news feed and see something about gratitude. I think it was about gratitude and how it doesn't always work or something. And we had this good hour conversation. And when I came out of it, I had learned so much about who I am. And my husband said, I don't know where this information is coming from. This doesn't make any sense, And then I sat down and I just kind of was jotting a few things down. Just by this simple little short journaling, I learned even more. And suddenly I felt this great empowerment. I felt so strong and powerful and free. It was amazing. I couldn't believe how this one thing and doing this on a word that generally is pretty positive released me. And suddenly I could feel grateful in a totally new way. So, a few days passed and I felt this. It was great. I loved the amazing power from it. So I thought, why did I stop at one word? Let's do another. Let's do something else. So I chose anxiety. Let me look at my anxiety. And I started to work on that because here I used a positive word. So I wanted to try something that I knew was negative. I knew I had some anxiety. So I did anxiety. And again, I came out of it and I had a great conversation with my husband, and I actually ran into several YouTube videos talking about anxiety. And then I ran into an article about how destructive it is. And not that I didn't know that, I obviously knew it, but some of the stuff it said in that article, I had never thought of before, never heard of before. And I was like, oh my gosh, the messages still are coming. They're still coming. I asked for it. I gave things away. I asked them to come give me messages. So I got messages. I did it about my weight. I've done it about my mother. And I've only been doing this for a few months. But shortly into this, I suddenly knew this is something I had to share. And I'm not asking for money. I'm not asking for you to join a program. I just am sharing what I've done. Because I would love other people to try it and tell me what they think of it. Because the success has been crazy. But instead of doing this where I tell you how I've done it and the great success, although some of the videos probably are going to be like that, really, this is going to be more of what I've done. So I'm going to work on releasing something. And then I'm going to talk about it the next day. I'm going to do what I do. I mean, for me, I go and I release. I do the big compare and contrast, then I release. And then the next day I usually talk to my husband about it. And we have some great conversations. Again, most of which we're not even sure where things come from. This also is a little bit of a journaling for me because I'm able to go through it. It's actually a whole nother set of release to video it. That's why I said you could journal it. You could do your own videos, talk about what you went through, and you'll be amazed what comes out when you've done this. It's phenomenal. And so I'm going to be continuing to post them. I will warn you ahead of time, even now, like I've put a few out and I know sometimes you won't agree with what I've said. Sometimes it may even make some people angry. Like I have one on faith, I'm sure not everybody's gonna love. So just be aware that this truly could be some, that as you watch my videos, this is about me. It's not about you. It may be not even about how you feel about things, and I just want you to be okay with that. But I welcome you to watch them and get what you need to get out of them, learn what you need to learn out of them, and try it for yourself. Try it. Post your own videos. Let me see what you're doing with it. I would love to be part of it. It's really fantastic. And like I said, the more I do it, the more I am now seeing all this stuff that's possible in my life. I've gone from a visualization to actually seeing it and feeling all the stuff I'm trying to manifest, all the stuff I'm trying to get. I see it, I feel it. It's so real now. I see this stuff happening. And I realize, probably the biggest piece of this whole thing is that as humans, the law of attraction, if you listen to it and how it's explained, it sounds pretty simple. It sounds pretty easy, but it also sounds kind of lazy. And for me, I think that's one of the biggest problems. Like, I want to continue to grow and learn. I don't want to just say, hey, I want, $50 million tomorrow. I want to say, I want 50 million, but I want to be a better person too. I want this ideal life. It's like how they say, you can find someone to love, but if you're not ready to love that person, it won't be a great life. So I can get all the money I want, the great things will come to me, but if I'm not ready for it in every direction, I'm just going to push it away because I need to be ready. So that's the biggest thing I want. It's work, but it's fun, it's exciting, and I promise once you start doing this, although it's emotional, you'll come out feeling like, I get it, I'm ready for this, I want this stuff. If you're looking for love in your life and you start breaking all this down, you'll feel ready for love, or you'll feel ready to be single, and either way it will totally make sense to you. Whatever, the lists are limitless, so please watch, enjoy. Like I said, please don't be offended, because this is my own personal thing. You'll be seeing, this is not made up, this isn't something I did months ago and now I'm just gonna be, I did them last night, I did it today, and I'll release it. Anyway, thank you very much, and we'll see you in another video.